Hello and welcome back to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. Well, here we are, the High Crack. So we're gonna continue right where we left off, and we're gonna make a quick incursion to Gavilazan once again, and gonna post a bigger sign outside of the fortress and collect the second storm box we are missing. And all this is here over the west entrance. So that's where we're going right now. And if you take a quick look over here, you'll see I did a slight rearrangement of my quick slots. Basically, yeah, I just used my high level warden as a template. Since there are many skills that I still don't have, well, this is still a work in progress, but it already looks more familiar. This is not the final product yet, so keep an eye for that. So here we are, we're gonna post here the sign. As soon as we take care of this guy over here. Okay, should be it. Let us post the sign now. So, that's it. We're only missing the strong box now. And the second strong box. So here's where we got for the key, or well, the schematics for the secret entrance as part of the epic. But the strong box we're looking for is actually located in one of the buildings over here. And I think it's this one. We can interact with the doors, so seems we are on the right track. Come on. Yeah. Almer Stone Shaper.
Greetings.
Who dares to enter the tomb of Halmer Stone Shaper, son of Vitur of old? Not even a Darhand is foolish enough to enter here. They know the tale of the Stone Shapers and quake in fear. Yet you are different. You are here for the Strombox, aren't you, Tippin Man? You've only moments to tell me your tale before I cleave you in twain.
Will you help me?
I see. So you were sent by a dwarf from the Blue Mountains, were you? Perhaps it is the long years along here, but I believe you. Now allow me to tell you a tale. Long ago, the first Halmer Stone Shaper, son of Vitur, was charged with guarding the treasures here. He stood sentry day and night, maintaining his post even on days of feasting. Yet, he let his guard drop only once, and a vile dwarf, Yortur Darhand, slipped in and stole a single ingot of dwarf gold. Having failed in his duty, Halmur swore that he and his sons would keep vigil over the remaining gold until that ingot was returned. I am but one in a long line of Halmurs who have kept his oath. If you return the stolen ingot, the oath will be fulfilled. The strongbox will then be yours to return to the dwarf who sent you. I cannot say, though, where to find Yortur, although the legends of Halmur's failure tells that Yortur is somewhere within Gavilazan. Perhaps there you will be able to find the gold. Yeah, that's it. So, not sure if we just need to kill some dwarves to make that ingot drop, or if we need to actually go back. We need to find that Yortur dwarf. But it seems the latter is the right answer. we are, taking care of the tower hands. That's it. Let us talk with him. Ah! You've come from one of those fool stone shapers, haven't you? You've heard the tale of their oath over that strongbox, haven't you? Well, allow me to tell you a tale. The first Jortur Darhan stole the gold not for his own treasure, but to make Halmur's stone shaper look the fool. Upon hearing of Halmur's oath, Jortur swore one of his own. He and his sons would forever keep the ingot and forever keep the stone shapers looking the fool. I too come from a long line of Jortur Darhans, and I shall keep to the oath. You shall only have the ingot if you can take the strongbox over my dead body, and I don't think that's too likely. Let's see. Okay. And there's Jortur's chest. And now we gotta get back to Halmur. Oh, I hope that's enough to kill those guys. Well, that should be it.
Well met.
My eyes must betray me, you man, you trickster. You cannot have the stolen ingot that has kept me and my kin chained to this place for the long years. And yet it is. It is. Can it be so? Has my duty at last been fulfilled? Well, I did my part. I can hardly believe the oath has been fulfilled. Be at peace, ancestor, the treasures are reclaimed. Well, if you don't mind, I'll take the chest. I'm not sure what I'll do with myself now. The oath is all I've had. Perhaps I'll join my kin in the Blow Mountains. Oh well, it matters not. Because for the first time I'll be able to go wherever I choose. But I was able to help you out. You did help me as well. And let us turn in all these quests. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go back to Rivendell and continue with the epic. As you see here, we can finish this quest with Deliros. And before I forget, we also have this one, a momentous decision. We haven't talked to an elder yet, and better to advance this quest while we are in the area, as I don't think we'll return to Rivendell for a long time. Alright, let us turn the quests in and let's see what they have to say.
Greetings.
You have returned, Beriathan, and I know I need not ask if you posted the sign I gave you, for you are a trustworthy man indeed. I have fashioned another sign for you to post. I see from your eye that you expected it and are eager to assist again.
Will you stay and speak with me a moment?
You have done admirably with the task of posting those signs for me, Beriathan, and I am sure you will exceed my expectations with this latest one. This sign warns travelers to beware of giants. I realize this might seem a little obvious, but the trouble with giants is that they can usually see you from a good deal further away than you can see them. One of the elves in Rivendell told me a story about a giant that could fell an oryx with a single stone from a distance of 2 miles. I'm not worried for myself, of course, but if any traders begin passing through the mountains, we'll want them to have at least some warning before entering giant country. 2 miles at least. 2 passes run south through the mountains. You have already seen the pass of Gavilazan, but the pass of Rakas Bizarre is further to the east. Travel south to Rakas Bizarre and post this sign. You should find a suitable post before leaving the pass. And beware, I won't be responsible if you run afoul of the giants south of the pass. In fact, these giants are so dangerous I would recommend that you go with friends to attempt this task. I might do that, but I'll need a couple more levels.
Well met, friend.
Good, good. I hope the strongbox wasn't too hard to find. A.K. Gold-Watcher is sure to be pleased with this. Those records of his won't have a bad thing to say about me. Now, I know you've already done so much, but perhaps there is a bit more I could ask of you? What is it?
I would be grateful for your assistance.
There's but one thing left to do. Take the strongboxes to A.K. Gold-Watcher in Thorin's Hall. I know it's a bit of a trek to go all the way there, but I think it's the proper thing to do. I wish I could do it myself, since it's my reputation that will be besmirched in Heike's record if he is not happy, but I am far too busy here to make such a journey. You'll find Heike in Thorin's Hall in the Blue Mountains. Hopefully Heike won't be too unhappy when you get there. Oh, why not? At some point.
Might you spare a moment of your time? Stay a moment.
Will you help me?
As if with not enough to deal with here, it seems that a few of Rivendell's scouts have gone astray somewhere east of here, up in the High Pass. A pair of them that passed through some few weeks ago said there were rumors that a new great goblin has arisen in Goblin Town, and we're going to see if they were true, and make trouble for them if they were. Well, there's trouble aplenty up in these mountains without a pair of fighty elves stirring up more, mark my words. But God it did, and we've not heard aught from them since. One of my folk went along with them, a fellow by the name of Eywind, so they ought to be fine. Now that I think about it, Eywind is a bit of a hothead himself. He went tagging along with the others as he fancied that he would find a bit more adventure up in the High Pass, as he put it, so maybe it would be best if you did go take a look and see if they are alright.
Well met.
That will do, but not yet. For the time being, let us go to Rivendell and finish all these other quests that we have in here, and that should be enough to get us to level 41.
What do you need?
Where are we gonna spend that trade point? I'm not sure yet. Already here. We're not so far away from the forges. Thankfully, I remembered this before going to another area. Narsil is to be reforged. My heart would be filled with joy at this news, friend, for Aragorn and for all of Middle-earth, if it were possible. The shards were kept a while in Imladris for safekeeping, and I often gazed upon them. It is with sadness that I must tell you that reforging the sword may not be possible. Its history is known to me, long and storied as it is, but I will tell you only the portion that causes me to grieve. Of old, elves of the House of Feanor crafted numerous wonders, items of great power and beauty. Among these were the Silithir, Adamant's possessed of the light of the stars. The dwarfsmith Telhart used one of these stones in the creation of Narsil, and the Silithar it was that caused the blade to glow with silver light when wielded in battle. All of the Silithar were lost during the long centuries since the forging of Narsil. Without such a stone to use in the reforging, the sword will never achieve the greatness it once had. I am sorry. Bring this news to Aragorn with my sorrow. And thankfully, the epic will take us back to Aragorn one more time before leaving Rivendell for good. So this was the perfect time to advance this quest. Now I always get lost here in the markets. Just a little bit. Here 3000 XP. Well, we're not gonna go to Aragorn just yet. I just told you. Artisan Scholar Scroll case before I forget to loot that one as well. Yellow wall paint recipe. It doesn't hurt to have it. Although I don't see myself using it, but I'm a collector of recipes, especially these ones. I think the Scholar has a lot of different recipes that are nice to have. The dyes, these housing items, or Vetmore. I think that's the vector to a region. I don't remember if I have ever done that one. So as I was saying, yeah, the paints, the dyes, rolls, the Atlas essences. Let us talk to Deluros over here.
What can I do for you?
While you were away, Beriathan, I was able to partially reassemble the vase. It is a thing of beauty, even incomplete. I wonder at its maker and the circumstances that brought it to lie abandoned in pieces beneath the snow of the mountains. I see you have brought some jagged fragments back with you. I will see if any of them belong to this base.
Stay a moment.
Level 41. You have been very fortunate, Beriathan, for some of those fragments were indeed once part of this base. I have repaired it as best I can, and the beauty it once had has returned in some measure. I have another task for you, Beriathan. There are tables throughout Rivendell on which pieces of art and history are sometimes placed for contemplation. Bring this vase to a table near Glorfindel. If she recognizes it as being the sum of the fragments you earlier uncovered for her, I shall agree to further her instruction as a scholar and give her leave to study some of the more valuable artifacts kept here at Imladris. If she does not recognize the vase, she will have received my final lesson. Place the vase on the table, observe her reactions, then return to me, and we will speak further. But this is the very first time ever in 10 years that I have used this ramp, I believe. I have never seen it.
Hope is not in vain.
So you have returned, and with evil tidings. This is the mark of a Gaunt-lord. Perhaps you have seen one before. Sometimes Gaunt-lords use the sigils to summon the fell spirit that animates the wight. The sigil you have brought is a mark of Drugoth the Black, a powerful Gaunt-lord. As for what drew the Nazgûl and this Gaunt-lord to Helegrod, I fear I now know why they seek.
Dark days are coming.
What the Nazgûl seeks has become apparent to me, Beriathan. Gloin told you of the fall of Helegrod, I expect. During the 5th, such a dwarf to bear that name, slew the dragon Thorog but perished during the battle alongside most of his company. When it became clear that Helegrod was a place of evil and their attempts to restore it futile, the dwarves removed the riches from the treasury and left the dragon's body to molder. However, I fear the cold and eyes of Orod Lostol may have preserved the body of the dragon far longer than any would have thought. Even after death and the passage of so many years, the body of Thorog would possess much power. I fear that Drugoth the Gaunt-lord might use his arts to place some spirit within that corpse, raising the most terrible of wights to the service of Angmar. A dragon wight within reach of Imladris is too grave a threat to be ignored. I must ask you to go into the treasury of Helegrod and put an end to the plans of Drugoth and the Nazgûl. It will be a difficult task, so gather a party of mighty warriors and go forth. Oh, we gotta go to the Helegrod treasury. So let us take the opportunity to bring the base to Glorenglir, and we'll advance all those quests when we're back to turn the epic with Elrond. Okay. So, how far are we? 300 meters. Not so bad. Alright. I always like this quest. This broken base quest. Glorenglir is a one-of-a-kind elf, I would say. Not so many elves are as scarce, so I like that character development we got there. That's an interesting base, friend. Is it from Lord Elrond's collection? I will say no more to you. But yeah, you lost your chance. And that's sad. It's such a tiny piece that you might miss, but I always believed it was really cool and really interesting to see it. Back to Delros. Oh god! God, I thought that was it. Well, that's no biggie. I hope. Yeah. You just need to... We'll just need to go back to Delros and talk to her. God. For the love of Eru. I think we have enough time to run the Helegrod treasury. And not sure if anything else, because that instance is quite long. Just making sure we're on the right track. So back to the treasury we go. Oh jeez, well, I thought Elrond would give us an instant travel. That's a shame. One of the last remnants of LOTRO's original quest design, I guess, where you had to go to the actual place to enter the instance. Not many places remain like this.
Elrond Half-Elven fears that the remaining Nazgûl has enlisted the aid of the Gaunt-lord Drugoth to instill a fell spirit into the frozen corpse of the ancient dragon Thorog and raise the beast once more as a wight. Little time remains to stop their evil plans.
Okay, so I think gonna use one of these enhanced XP supplies just to be safe for later, as we are about to finish with the Troll shows in the Misty Mountains and going to Angmar, but we're still really low in terms of level. We'll need to get 4 levels in Angmar alone. I'm debating if doing some of the side quests in the eastern North Downs, maybe Esteldín and in Esteldín and the Earth King as well. Gonna think about that. A plaque on the side of this obelisk is written in several tongues. It reads, I, Durin, Lord of Khazad-dûm, have delved this vault with the aid of the weighty Myrddin. To protect the great riches found here, there are obelisks crafted by the arts of elves as a token of friendship. Only those who invoke the name of the Star Kindler may pass. 3 times 3 are the obelisks, and 3 times must you speak. Weighty Myrddin. I'm not sure, is that... My Cinderin is not good enough for that. An obelisk in here? Doesn't seem like it, but at least we can grind some of these Angmarines for XP. So yeah, no obelisk in here. Gotta check all the side passages. I don't miss any. Last time I was here I did, and backtracking this is not fun. That was quick. That was cool. Okay, so here's the first obelisk. Well-bred Gilthoniel. I keep checking. An obelisk in here, but a few Angmarim, so let us do this. That's right, he died. So we're still missing 2 obelisks. I think there's one in here. Yep. There's one in here. Ulbrith Gilponiel, yeah, let's continue. The last one. So hey, maybe the instance is not as long as I remember, because as I was telling you, the last time I did this, I forgot one obelisk, the very first one, so I cleared the entire map. Then I had to go back, interact with the very first obelisk to be able to unlock the other 3, and then I had to revisit every single room looking for the active obelisks. Yeah, it took me a long time doing this, but I did learn from that mistake. Oh, Brink of Victory is so cool. Being able to just pass them by and we'll be able to hit them. That's nice. And here is the 3rd and last obelisk. Invoking Elbred's name one more time. And it's time to end the Nazgûl's plans. Where's the exit? Alright. Are there any other side passages to explore before facing the Nazgûl? Just for a little bit of extra XP. And items, they are dropping a lot of reputation items. And yes, I think there's just one more side passage over here. Well, a couple more of these guys. Doesn't hurt to kill them, as that way we can also advance the White Slayer, the racial deed. I hope. And here we are, ready to face the Nazgûl. Quite a confrontation, obviously. Tired of this intrusions, you will wait. Join your brothers. This Thorog will rise. This is not gonna be pretty. No, he's breaking free. Quickly, go on, pursue your charge. I shall deal with these witless worms. All up on the eye. And that's never good. Since I cannot be slain by your arts, I return to Mordor and my master. Okay. So, what now? We just leave the instance, it seems. Cannot swift travel to Glowing's camp? Oh, we just use the ropes, maybe? Let us wait for that cooldown to expire. Nope. Okay. Let's go back the hard way. It's a shame we don't have still the Master in Rivendell though. That would be a great help right now.
The missing Nazgûl fled to the ancient ruins of Helegrod, where he and the Gaunt-lord Drugoth attempted to raise a dragon as the most terrible of wights. Though the ritual was successful, the Nazgûl was sent back to Mordor, and the dragon wight fled. I fear that Drugoth may yet bring the dragon wight under his control, but that is not compared to the burden I must guide south.
Okay, so here we are back in Helegrod's treachery, and yeah, we're doing good time. Have enough time to return to Rivendell, talk to Delros, talk to Elrond, and hopefully talk to Aragorn as well. Well, the good side of all this, I guess, having to go back to Glowing's camp and take the Stable Master once again, is that Stable will get us really close to Delros, so to Glorenglir. So I think at least we can Make up for my previous mistake. Wasn't so bad. Gotta go back to Glowing's camp. And yes, we still have the second half of this map to explore, but that will come later. Still a long ways off before that happens.
What do you want?
Let's go to Rivendell. I had not... That critical damage, yeah, absolutely. I want that one. Why is my careful step grayed out? Some kind of weird graphical glitch. Ah, talk to Delros. No, sorry, my bad. We didn't need to talk to Glorenglir. I just was confused between the names. We just need to talk to Delros at Elrond's library. So yeah, we didn't mess up this one. I didn't mess up this one, so perfect. That's great. But yeah, I think we're gonna need to do some extra quests in the North Downs before going into Angmar. Would like to be at least level 43. Before going into Angmar. Just a couple quests, nothing too major, but yeah.
What do you need?
It does not surprise me that Glorenglir failed to recognize the base Beriathan, even though she had some part in restoring it. I thank you for your assistance, and I hope the lesson of Glorenglir will stay with you. Be not so eager to advance that you fail to experience the moment, Beriathan, in life and in all things. Oh, none of these rewards is good for us. Let us just take the hat. Talk to Elrond.
Dark days are coming.
You have done a great thing today, Beriathan. You have faced the might of a Nazgûl and lived to tell the tale. Fortunately, the waters of the Bruinen and your pursuit of him weakened him to the extent that you could defeat him and send him back to Mordor. As for the matter of the dragon, it would appear that although the ritual was partially successful, the dragon wight is not fully under the control of Drugoth. It still presents a threat to Rivendell, but not so great as would have been had the ritual been completed. For now, we can turn our attention to other matters, although someday you may wish to return to Helegrod and end this threat completely. If I get a group, yeah. I mean, I need a group at least for the Dragon Wing, because I don't think it can be soloed. I have already tried, but the pressure pads on the Dragon Wing are not solo friendly.
Hope is not in vain.
I would wish you to remain here away from the troubles of the world, but alas, the enemy does not rest, and so neither can we. Angmar grows in power with each passing day, and without a means to stem its evil, we have no hope of winning this war. Speak with Aragorn. He waits for you in one of the guest rooms along the road that winds up the southern slope of the Velopim Ladris. But we have the swift travel to Esteldín, but no. We're not gonna swift travel to Esteldín. Because we need to advance the class quest. So what we're gonna do is swift travel to Osgurth and take the stable to Bree, South Bree Gate. Get a quest and then maybe we can swift travel to Esteldín. Here we are in the guest rooms.
Greetings.
You have returned from speaking with Heimdall. What did he have to say about the reforging of Nazgûl? I see. Heimdall is a fine smith, but he shares the dour outlook of his people. If he needs a Scimitar to reforge the sword of Elendil, we will find for him a Scimitar.
Greetings.
Immediate Wanderer of Evendim. Oh, we can start working on that, yeah. When I was very young, my father Aragorn was slain by orcs and my mother brought me to stay here at Rivendell. I was called Estel by my mother Gilran and by all those who dwelt in the Vale, and I rode far afield seeking adventure with the sons of Elrond. I consider him my father as much as did Elladan and Elrond here. At the age of 20, Lord Elrond took me aside and told me my true name and of my heritage, that I descended in unbroken line from Elendil of old. He gave to me the ring of Barahir and the shards of Nazgûl, but he withheld the scepter of Annúminas, saying I had yet to earn it. He withheld too another treasure, but I will not speak of that. Soon afterward I went in search of a Scimitar with which Nazgûl might be reforged. Yes, I knew then of the ancient Scimitar and of the need for one, but I was young and I did not pass the test that was set before me. The time had not come for Nazgûl's remaking. I have a message for Master Elrond. Bring it to him faithfully and return with his words, and I will better know how to proceed. Here is my message. I know now what Gwynedd thought of me in the watery darkness, and I am prepared to give it. Elendil was a wiser man than I. I await your return, Beriathan.
It is time to turn our eyes north.
With matters in hand here, it is time to turn our attention to the north.
Will you stay a moment? I must speak with you.
Hail and well met, Beriathan. It is well that you have come. This morning a falcon arrived, bearing a message for me from Esteldín, the hidden refuge of my people in the North Towns. It would appear that another such bird came to Esteldín from the north, gravely wounded, bearing a message from one of my kinsmen we had believed long dead. I know little more, for the message to me was brief, but the Erbul has asked me to come at once. My time here is short, and I cannot return now to comfort with my people. My path lies to the south and to the east. Will you go to Esteldín in my stead and learn what tidings have come there? Speak to Darbun, for it was he who sent the message to me. I fear that the news is grave, for Coronir was deemed lost years ago when his captain Gaunt-lord disobeyed my edict and took a company north into Angmar. They were never heard from again. It is a joy that Coronir lives, but what kept him from contacting us before now? Okay, so we need to make one last quick trip to Elrond's library. the very last one. He's gonna make us go back to Aragorn, it seems, so yeah, still have some writing to do. Still have some time though, so... Take just a couple more minutes.
Hope is not in vain.
Aragorn has traveled many roads since his early failure in the tomb of his great ancestor. What would Winded make of him now, I wonder? You look puzzled, young one. Do not despair. I will explain my words to you and give counsel to him whom I once called Estelle.
Dark days are coming.
Aragorn came to us when he was only 2 years of age, his father Arathorn having been slain by the arrows of the orcs. Gilraen feared for her child's safety and brought him to Imladris, seeking to keep the fact of his birth from the eyes of the enemy. I bade Gilraen keep his true name and lineage secret, and she called him instead Estelle, or Hope. When he reached 20 years of age, I saw that he had come early to manhood, and I gave to him knowledge of his lineage and the name his father had given him, Aragorn, a strong name. Full of hope was he on that day, but he soon would be laid low with a love far above his station, for walking in the woods near sunset of the next day, he encountered Arwen, my daughter, and was stricken with love for her. I do not know why he went to Annúminas, but I always believed he made the journey to prove to himself he was worthy of loving such a maid. He went to that ancient city, long deserted, in the company of my sons and with Calenglad, a ranger that came at times to Imladris. Calenglad did not return from Aragorn's journey to the city of his fathers, and when next I saw Aragorn, the experience had left its mark upon him. Return to Aragorn and tell him that I agree the time has come for our Narsil to be reforged, and I will give to it a new name. Andúril, Flame of the West, we will have need of its light before the end. I love this questline. I'm sure I had already told you so, but I really do. The first time I did it, it was taxing. The questline is really long, you have to run a lot of errands, and when you finally think you're done, you are greeted with a fellowship instance. And well, finding a group I think is not so hard, but still, this questline requires you to do a lot of things, but it's so worth it at the end. The instance at the end, oh my, it was a dream come true. I'm a fan of Aragorn, of Gondorian history, on Arnorian history, Númenorian history, you can say. It was so amazing witnessing that, and I'm really looking forward to it, witnessing that again with Beriathan. I think that's gonna be extra special this time. But there is a long road before we get to Evendim. Still need to get to Angmar first. So let us just talk to Aragorn and make our way to Bree.
Greetings.
I am glad that Master Elrond agrees with my decision, for his counsel is near to my heart. It is true that I journeyed in my youth to Annúminas, the city of my fathers. Even then, it had stood empty for long years, but it was once the shining jewel of my people, and I desired to see it with my own eyes. I thought too that if I recovered the Scimitar that lay within Anuminas, the only one of the stones that remain in this bend of the world, I might reforge Narsil and prove myself worthy of the fate to which I had been born. Elladan and Elrond here accompanied me on my journey to Evendim, and my kinsman Calanglan also. He had sworn an oath to my father and renewed it in my name before we departed. Much of the city had already been reclaimed by the waters of Lake Ninoinel when we arrived, and I despaired of finding the Scimitar within the flooded tomb where it lay. But lo, the maiden Winded appeared before us and charged me with a task to prove my worthiness of receiving the Scimitar. My youthfulness betrayed me. Though I had the form of a man, I had not wisdom or experience, and Winded found me wanting. The Scimitar was not to be mine that day. When I stood before the flooded passages of Elendil's empty tomb on the outskirts of Anuminas, I believed it right that Narsil be reforged. I could not understand why Winded refused me access to the Scimitar. Now I believe I understand.
Greetings.
Long years have passed, and I have not seen Callanglad since that day. He did not return with me. He had become enamored of Winded and Lake Ninoial, and chose to remain behind. I offered to free him from his oath to me, but he refused, saying, "You are my lord and have power over me, but I ask that you allow me to remain here. I will keep watch over the city and safeguard the lake until such time as you return. In this way I will uphold my oath." Callanglad has remained at Tinodir ever since. I would rejoice to speak with him again, but preparations are underway for a journey of great danger and importance, more important even than the reforging of Narsil, and I cannot journey to Anuminas. But you, my friend, you can bring to Callanglad my words, and tell him that we now have true need of the Scimitar, where once we did not. Bring this letter to Callanglad, Beriathan, and remember that you act in my stead. You are my agent to Tinodir, an island on the eastern shore of Lake Ninoial in Evendim, and we speak with one voice. Always remember that respect cannot be bought, but must be earned. Do not undervalue it, and we shall yet see Andril reforged from the shards of Narsil. That's it. So let us travel to Osgurth. This letter is gonna stay in our inventory for a long while, I guess. Hopefully not so long, but we have 3 epic books to cover before we get to Evendim, so... But yeah. Callanglad, it has been too many years. Young I was when last I stood with you in Menerain, before the tomb of Elendil, my forefather, and bid you farewell. Many roads have I travelled since that day, and many evils fought, but the path now beneath my feet and the foes raged before me are more dangerous than ever I have faced. The time has come for strength. The light of Narsil must be rekindled. You know of what I speak, Callanglad. The Scimitar must be recovered. I am ready to take up the burden that has been set before me, but Winded must give me her approval, or that readiness will mean nothing. The bearer of this letter acts as my agent and speak with my voice. Verify the authenticity of its carrier in the common way of the Dunedain. Evendim and Ninoial are in my thoughts, Callanglad. I hope that you are well. Aragorn, son of Arathorn, Lord of the Dunedain.
What do you want?
Let us go to South Bree. And this will be the point where we will wrap up this episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. Thank you once again for joining in, for watching this episode, and leave a comment with what you like. All your suggestions are welcome as ever. And I will see you on the next time, on the next chance we have to meet again. Thank you, see you soon, stay safe, and bye bye.